So recently I just made a video about Gohan and the how he's like one of the biggest potential men, probably the biggest potential man in fiction. Today we're going to be talking about someone that never even, the conversation of potential wasn't even brought up when it came to this character. When it comes to if this character even has anything planned for him at all, it's a fucking mystery. I got one question for everybody watching this video. What the hell does he even do? What does he do? Why does he exist? Goten is one of the most underutilized, useless characters that I've ever seen in Dragon Ball. Probably one of the most underutilized characters I've ever seen in a manga, anime, anything that I've ever seen. It's crazy how he just wasn't used at all after the Buu saga. Like we made like this patch of characters, right? We made like some patch notes. We made some edits to the Z fighters, right? We got some new blood for the Buu saga, right? And we're trying to set them up to be the next guys for the next generation, and that just wasn't the case. So from what we can understand, Goten was originally brought in to replace Goku. We all know the story. Goku dies at the end of the Cell saga. He sacrificed himself to save everybody from Cell exploding and blowing up the earth, right? Goten was made to replace Goku because originally Goku was not intended to come back into the story. So I'm like, okay, fair. But Toriyama, he doesn't really do things. He doesn't really do copies of characters. Piccolo is very different from King Piccolo. Gohan is very different from Goku. Trunks is very different from Vegeta. He's one of the few shonen authors that we've seen that when the main character or any of the characters have a child or a kid, they're actually vastly different from their parent. Shocker, right? To everybody watching this video, how similar are you to your parents, or like one of your siblings are to your parents? Like it's pretty much a toss-up as to whatever your child is going to end up like, right? Goten is a bit different from Goku, but he was made to be pretty much a copy. Brian to pretty much keep those same kids interested in a kid character, because at this time Gohan is grown up, practically an adult now, but his personality is like generally the same, and he's extremely talented. He went Super Saiyan at age 7. This is probably the only notable feat that people even talk about with Goten. This is the only interesting thing that he's ever done, if I'm being honest with you guys. So when it comes to good things, like things that I really like about Goten, his interactions with Gohan and the rest of his family are top notch. I love his interactions with Gohan. I love his interactions with Chi-Chi. That moment that he had when he finally met Goku, I'm not sure if that was anime only, but it was so sweet. Like it was so heartfelt. It's Dragon Ball does really good in scenes like these, when it's just the characters being human, when it's just the characters hanging out with each other, showing that they care for one another. I love moments like this in Dragon Ball because it's really the characters that keep us coming back with every iteration. Like it's not, I know a lot of people like to think so, it's not so much the plot that keeps us coming back, it's these characters. These characters are very, very interesting, a lot more interesting than say Solo Leveling. A lot of the characters, I can't remember any character besides Sung Jin-woo, if I'm being honest with you. But with Dragon Ball, all these characters are so interesting to the point you can actually take the camera away from Goku and you might be fine. But we barely get any of that with Goten. He was basically just an NPC up to a certain point and just fusion material for Trunks. They did a lot more with Trunks when it came to, honestly, if I'm being honest with you, most of Trunks's development and character is tied to his future self. They don't really do much with Kid Trunks, but it's a lot more than what they do with Kid, I was gonna say Kid Goten. There's no adult Goten yet. There's not really much that they do with Goten. Goten's like that one piece of XE's material, like you guys ever seen Yu-Gi-Oh? Goten is basically just a tuna monster, and he's only there to fuse with Trunks. Now when we get on to Gotenks is really cool. And I feel like he becomes cooler when you grow up with the dub and not the sub. In the Japanese, Gotenks is really a gag character. I mean, he's like that in the English dub. He's very goofy because he's a kid, but he has like that cool edge to him. It's very odd because their voices are overlapping with each other, but you could just sense the power that comes from Gotenks. And then you go to the Japanese, he's just like, yay! And I'm like, oh no. And he fights Buu. It wasn't even close. It was just I don't he didn't even make any. There was like no real clear moments of advantage when it came to Gotenks getting the upper hand on Boo, right? And they get out the hyperbolic time chamber, right? And Boo has pretty much already massacred everybody on planet Earth at this point, including Goten and Trunks' parents, right? And we start to see something different from Gotenks. They're mad. There's a edge to them. Goten, even like before they fused, when they was getting ready to fight Boo and they was in the hyperbolic time chamber, Goten has like a very serious edge to him. I'm like, oh, okay, we got some nuance here, right? You know, they're put in a situation where we're starting to see a little bit more of these characters, right? And they start to become a little bit more three-dimensional. But all that kind of goes out the window where Boo stomps them. We're trying to set up Gohan fighting Boo, and we all know how that ended up. Fast forward to Super. He just doesn't really do much. Like, I honestly, I forgot he even existed in Super. And it's not even like, I don't care about Goten fighting. You know, a lot of people are under the impression that, I'm gonna just go through my comments real quick. Hold on. So we got this comment by these people in my YouTube comment section. They're like, deadass, why couldn't Toriyama just give Gohan the win against Super Boo? It was a perfect moment, but he had to make him fumble, right? They're saying because Toriyama wants everyone to know that Gohan isn't fitted to be the main character. If he did defeat Boo, Goku would still be dead. And the problem is, Gohan doesn't like fighting to improve himself. And also, put in Toriyama's shoes for a bit, how can you, as a writer, make a new main character for Dragon Ball that has an MC that is very popular with the fans? Now here's the thing. Gohan was actually at the front of the popularity polls back in the day. He was the most popular character in the whole fucking series, dude. So, when it comes to like having the MC be the most like popular character, have it be like the only person that the audience wants to see, that's almost never really the case. You can even look at My Hero Academia. I'm pretty sure for most of the manga, Bakugo was actually the most popular character, favored over Deku. Toriyama had all the freedom in the world. He had all the keys. He had the keys to the fucking city when it came to Shonen Jump. He had all the power in the world to keep Goku out the story and kind of pass it on to Gohan and Goten. Same thing like how we got with Boruto, where, you know, Boruto, he's the main character. Naruto is the main character anymore. And it's still going. It's been going on for over 10 years and the manga is still selling. Toriyama could have did the same thing, but according to his editors, he just got fucking bored. And when it came to these new characters that we thought were going to be built up, that we thought were going to be more front and center, instead of like the older Z fighters like Yamcha, Tien, Chaozu and stuff like that, Yajirobe, you know, they get kind of pushed to the background because, you know, they're getting old. We're trying to build up the newer generation. Even the newer people, Goten and Kid Trunks, are regressed to background characters. I think, and walk with me for a second, I think it would have been very interesting for Goku Black to have been an evil version of Goten from like another universe or something. I don't know. I feel like when I found out that it was just like an evil version of Goku, like we already did that with Turles. We technically already did a Goku Black before. We already played around with that idea. And of course, like Zamasu was an interesting villain, but if we're like, okay, what's the given for this arc? We have Goku and he's seemingly evil. Okay. You know, like, even if I know the context as to why Goku Black is in this form, why Zamasu took his body and stuff like that, right? That doesn't really change the fact that we could have had a more interesting premise for it, that we could have took the opportunity to highlight another character that exists in the lore. There were more opportunities that they could have had, like in Dragon Ball GT. In my opinion, I really feel like that the Black Star Dragon Ball arc should have just been Goten, Trunks, and Pan. It should have been their show. Goten, Trunks, and Pan. We don't need Goku to be the main character. I know we love him. We don't need him to be the main character learning the same lessons over and over again. It was proven with Dragon Ball Super Hero. That was really, from what I can gather and from my YouTube comments, that was supposed to be a Piccolo movie. And at the last second, editorial executives were like, yo, we gotta put Gohan in this. Smart choice. People love Gohan. I see how many people was like under my comments fighting in the last video that I made about Gohan. People love Gohan, dude. I love Gohan. But it just begs the question, like, why did we even make Goten in the first place? Why would you make a Goku clone if you were gonna bring Goku back anyway, right? And it's just like we're just having these government mandated Goku appearances in Super, when we could just have him take a little break, like just give us a little break from him, right? And just there's so many characters that we just could have seen. And I think it was volume 21 of the Dragon Ball Super manga, right? We go through the story arc of Goten, Trunks, and Krillin. Surprisingly, trying to track down Dr. Hito, and they're fighting him in his robotic creations and stuff like that. And we're also seeing Trunks's and Goten's life going through high school and being the Great Saiyaman X1 and X2. It was to serve as almost like a prequel to the superhero movie. So they're doing their own thing. Apparently they've been doing their own thing off screen while Goku and Vegeta have been off fighting Broly or in space training with Whis and stuff like that. I really like that shit. Okay, we can have Goku and Vegeta out in space with the Galactic Patrol stuff, right? And we can have our own storylines back on Earth with Gohan, Goten, and Trunks. You know, just kind of leading those plot lines. Like, there's so much that they can do, and they're just not fucking doing it, dude. It's so annoying. But yeah, this kind of became like a rant on Dragon Ball and how the plot is kind of structure instead of just like a very on around Goten. But even then, like, what's wrong with Goten is really more so what's wrong with Dragon Ball as a whole, not so much the character, because there isn't really much to really talk about with Goten, if I'm being honest with you guys. There's nothing to really complain about. There's nothing much to really there's nothing much to even praise about Goten. There's just nothing that we know. I don't even know this kid. He's been around for decades. But yeah, hopefully in the future, I know we're about to have this Galactic Patrol arc, and they're about to remake Dragon Ball Super. We're about to see a third version of Battle of Gods again. But I'm hoping hoping there's a lesson to be learned when it comes to the success of superhero, and we see more stories of the other characters. Not only just Goten and Trunks, but Piccolo as well, Krillin, Android 17, Android 18. There's so much that they can do, right? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I appreciate the support that came with the last video. Like, honestly, just the likes, dislikes, all the arguing in the comment section. I appreciate the passion that came with that video. I could tell you guys really love Dragon Ball, and that's the kind of people that I want on my channel. People who are passionate about these things, you know. And yeah, and that's all I got to say. I know you guys are probably tired of hearing me talk, and yeah, I will see y'all later. Goodbye.